churches in Florida and online via Zoom. Reverend Allen was a regular speaker and workshop presenter at several Unity churches in Florida and the Keys. You could do a little travel guide for us in Florida. I would like to remind everybody to please silence your phones, and so we can just relax and enjoy this sacred time together. Let's share our vision and mission statements, which I usually have on my slide. Are we there?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
To invite and inspire spiritual consciousness through unity and its principles. We are love, joy, and acceptance in the world. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Our prayer box is in the front, and we invite anyone to include your request on the paper. It's prayed upon here for 30 days, and then it's sent to Silent Unity for more prayer work. And I definitely believe prayer, it's the foundation of unity, and it's helped me through a lot. We're ready for affirmation. Our minister today is Candace Drury. Candace?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And let's give a little applause for Kathy. She didn't know she was doing this today. Sending love and energy. That's all we have, right? All you need is love. Who said that? Love is the answer. All right. Well, it's December, the first day of Advent. Lovely to be here with you all. And I will say an affirmation, and then you'll repeat it with me together, with feeling. Inner peace. Divine peace is my path and my true nature. Together. Divine peace is my path and my true nature. What a lovely way to be, in divine peace. Midweek, when you're just sitting there and out of nowhere, you just need some. And we know where to get our resources. They're right here. And there are unity resources, and that's what we say. God, divine peace now, please. And it comes. Guidance. I follow the star and respond to the light of divine wisdom together. I follow the star and respond to the light of divine wisdom. Let your light shine. We are light beings. We are love light beings. Follow your star. Healing. God is the flow of life within my body and being together. God is the flow of life within my body and being. Your chi, your inner source, your light. Know it's there. Know it's you. Know it's God. Prosperity. I rejoice in abundant possibilities together. I rejoice in abundant possibilities. They're endless. If I may make it personal for a moment, the abundant possibilities that presented themselves to me in 3 weeks, my journey from here, from Florida to Illinois, has been in the ether and praying for what God has for John and I to come naturally and to come with our highest good in mind. And I rejoice in the abundant possibilities that came. 3 weeks. Our house was sold. We bought a house up there. And here we are with you now, being able to be together and just relax a minute. Be with you. I rejoice in abundant possibilities. Did we say that? Let's say it again. I rejoice in abundant possibilities. And world peace. The Christ born in me is a gift to the world. Together. The Christ born in me is a gift to the world. That's what we are. Give yourself freely to everyone you meet. Everyone you meet. Open your heart. Let your heart lead you into the room. Sunday, December 1st, 2024. Hope and faith. Inspired by hope and assured by faith, I begin my Advent journey. As Advent begins, I welcome the opportunity to reflect more deeply on what I hope for and what I affirm for my life. Hope is a seed, possibility. My divine faculty of imagination allows the seed of hope to sprout. Nurtured by faith, the seed takes root and grows from hope, from I hope to believe. I may have once hoped God would help me. Now I have faith that through the Christ within, I can help myself. I may have once hoped for the life of my dreams. Now I have faith I can create the life I want through the power of my feelings and thoughts. I believe. I mindfully use these words at the start of my Advent journey and beyond. To them, God chose to make known how great among the Gentiles are the riches of the glory of this mystery, which is Christ in you, the hope, the glory. Ephesians 1:27. I love you all. Namaste.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. There's a holy hush around us as God's glory fills this place. I've touched the hem of the garment. I can almost see God's face, and my heart is overflowing with the fullness of God's joy. I know without a doubt that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
So I invite you right now to join me in a meditation. And if you choose, you can close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in. And let's start our meditation by gently releasing all of the activity of the morning. Just as we breathe in, let's breathe out all of the thoughts, the emotions, the to-do list, letting it all go. And taking another deep breath in, allowing our breath to be that bridge into that quiet, still place. That quiet, still place which is the presence of God within. And as I open to this activity of God within, I feel this energy. I feel the energy of light filling every part of my being. The light of wisdom, guidance, inspiration, the center of love, that love that is eternal, no beginning, no end. The love that is this energy that unifies and harmonizes, that lifts and heals, that knows our oneness and interconnectedness with God and with each other and with everything that's here in this existence now. And just now, settle into this light and love that is the presence of God within. And listen. Just still your thoughts. Focus on your breath. Open and receptive. Let's just do this in the silence together for a moment. Now take another deep breath in and just slowly move around and open your eyes and join me back in this present moment here together. And so it is. Amen. Well, welcome back. And I'm Reverend Ellen Barron, and I am so pleased to be able to be here today with you. As Kathy had read in the announcement of who I am, that I had been here in Florida for a while. Well, it's actually longer than a while. It was 15 years. So I was here for a long time. And that journey was a big one for me. It was one that really connected me to unity. I had been on a spiritual journey for I think 20 years or something before that, but it was the first when I got Unity of Naples. That was the first church that I went to. And then on to Fort Myers, and I've had a lot of different experiences, as you heard. But it is just really good to be here because this does feel like coming home still for me. Because I'm only out of this area for about, four and a half years already. 4.5 years. And I came here specifically because of Thanksgiving, and we just touched on that at the beginning of this service today, that Thanksgiving has just come and gone, and we all know that it's an opportunity to connect to gratitude, to what is moving and what makes us feel connected connected to God, connected to each other. It's really, I don't think gratitude only about what's happening out here, but what is moving and what is alive within me. And so now we move pretty quickly right into the next weekend, and here we are at the beginning of Advent. And again, here in Florida, you look around and sometimes feels a little bit like, okay, it's Christmas. We know that all of the signals from Christmas come with the trees and the snow and all of that kind of stuff. And we've got all the beautiful white lights that come up everywhere. So Christmas, and this is what I love about holidays, be they Thanksgiving or Christmas or any of those, is it gives us an opportunity to bring our attention out away from all of the activity of everything that we do, all of the socializing, all of the positive and wonderful things, or the challenges and struggles that we may be facing on a regular basis. And it calls us, and has the ability, I should add, to call us to attention. And Advent is calling us to the attention of just opening up. That's what the word of Advent means. It means waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for us to wake up, right? Waiting for us to wake up. And we know that we're already on this journey. I believe that most of you in here, that is what we're doing together. But we have an opportunity always to go a little bit deeper. We have an opportunity to take advantage of these times to say, what practice can I add? What is something that might be important for me to focus on? And so we have a plan in place for Advent. Each Sunday we get to look at different aspects, different principles. And today I want to focus on this one, which is in unity. A lot of the Christian churches focus on hope, but in unity we add faith to that. So we're going to look at the light of hope that releases the power of faith. The light of hope. So let's look a little bit about what is hope. Hope is actually, to me, present within each and every one of us. And it is an important part of our human makeup, because just think for a second what it would be like if we weren't able to project and say, you know what, I see a better future for myself. Or just even knowing something like, if you're going through a loss of some type, to say, even though I'm in this moment of pain and loss and grief, I know that there is an end to this, and life goes on and things get better. That is what hope is. Hope springs forth. It's part of our spiritual process. It springs forth from within. Yep, here it goes. I hope I can read from that far here, even with the distance. Hope springs forth from within with positive thoughts and the promise of a brighter future. How many of us get stuck sometimes when we are in a place of limitation? We have a challenge, right? Yeah, I know I do. And I don't want to go into anything, but we're living in a time where there's been a lot of craziness. I know that your area just had two major hurricanes, and I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and 3 hours away in Asheville, one of those hurricanes came and took down the whole mountain, which was a little bit shocking. And I have friends that are there, and they still tell me that they're just, I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago, and at that point they still hadn't gotten water that was clean. It was dirty, and you had to do all these preparations and things. We have conflict going on around the world. There's a lot of things that can feel like heavy energy. From out here, never mind just the regular life needs that we all experience. So hope is that jumping off place. It's a place to start. It's a place to say, you know what, it's going to get better. And it generates those thoughts. So hope is important, but it is faith that actually gives us the ability to take the action. Now, sometimes you might think like faith sounds like a noun. I like to think of it as an action word because it really requires us to respond in a certain way. So let's look at what Eric Butterworth, one of our Unity, he's one of the spiritual gurus. He's written many, many books that we study as classics. And his description of faith is that faith is centering your consciousness in God. I'm going to just look over here, it's easier. The power of God is always present in you. The activity of God is centered in you. God is the foundation of your being. So how do we look at this difference between hope and faith? I think an easy way for me to understand it is to think in terms of Unity's method of prayer. A lot of us have come from traditional backgrounds, and just this may be how you learned, it was how I learned. So when I was praying in a traditional method to God, God was this being out here. It was the super being that I guess in my youth I felt lived in heaven or something. But you would pray to God and you would say, God, help me, lift me, heal me, help me get this new job, help me find somebody to love, help me navigate my way forward on this path. To me, that is the hope. That is what hope is inviting us to do. It's inviting us to say, there's that possibility. I'm waiting, I'm open, I'm available. Now, if we look at what Eric Butterworth is telling us about faith, it's telling us to shift our perspective. That, like in prayer, that we're not going to be looking out here waiting only for something to happen. We're going to shift our perspective and bring it right here, right into the center of our being, right into that part of us that is one with God, our spiritual nature. And when we do that, when we bring our consciousness within here, then what happens is we are able to release all of all of what God is from within. We call it the 12 powers. Faith is actually one of our powers, to believe, intuit, and to know, a knowing, a deep, resonating knowing. I like to think of that as, regardless of what is happening, we know it from this. Hope, faith is the assurance of things hoped for. So that is how we in Unity start to use the two of them together and understand their power. But for me, faith is just, I'm going to use a personal example. It's knowing that God is present in every situation, even if I don't feel like it's working. It's not looking for the outcome. And I think that to me is one of the biggest differences with hope. When I think of hope, I think of, I want that job, I want that future, I want that love. And faith is just an allowing of that energy to pour out, and I know without having to figure out how it's going to unfold. 16 years ago, my son passed away right here in Naples. We were living in Naples at that time. And he had had cancer, so it had been a 4-year journey that was very challenging. In fact, that's how we got from New York City down to Florida. He was in remission, and we came so he could swim and ride a bike and get strong, and then it did come back. But even through the journey, both of us had faith that we found this inner strength. There's your faith in that kind of a situation. It doesn't mean that it has to be a change, that he has to be cured. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes faith allows us instead to access what we need, to walk through a challenge that maybe we didn't anticipate. In my case, I found strength. I also found a healing there was a healing that happened because it gave us an opportunity to really connect on such an intimate level at those last few months. That was a gift. That was a gift. It gave me a sense of peace and calm, which seems strange because I do know that when he did make his transition, the first thing I was able to say is, thank you, God, for the gift of him in my life for as long as I had him. And I have read many stories and I went through grief groups, and so I'm not saying it was easy, not saying that at all, but I'm saying that my faith allowed me to walk this path and find a healing, find a purpose, connect emotionally with those that I needed. And I have heard and read different stories where people can, when you do have an experience like that, can close down, right? You put up your defenses. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to stay open when you're in pain and you're in suffering. And faith is centering your consciousness in God, the God that is within, because that is where we find everything we need to navigate every single situation that life unfolds. Let's see what's next. Okay. Jesus tells us, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to the mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20. Just think about that. That's a pretty bold statement, isn't it? You're going to be able to, just a small amount of faith can move mountains. How many of us are moving our mountains? How many of us are with our hope, envisioning of something wonderful that we want in our life, and with our faith, having it unfold? Sometimes it happens. You gave us a beautiful example. You gave us a beautiful example that you held on to faith, and you are moving where and how you want it to go. So it does work, and it works on that level. It works on the level that I was talking about. It actually can work in our world, which may be seeming a little bit overwhelming to say that we collectively, if we have the faith collectively to say that love is our true nature, that love is the energy that heals, that love is how we relate to all life and all beings, unconditional love, which was what Jesus was asking us and teaching us and telling us. What is the most important thing to do? What is the most important commandment? Love. Loving God, loving your neighbor, loving your enemy. Love. Collective consciousness, if we have the faith that this is what we can do, we can move mountains. That's pretty amazing. But it's an action. It's not just a belief. It's not just saying, okay, I have faith. I have faith that God is within me. I have faith that I'm a spiritual being. It's calling us to do more than that, right? It's saying, Jesus is saying right here, if you have this faith, you're going to move a mountain. Well, moving is an action. We have to do something. What is it that we might need to do? I know for me, in order for me to focus on faith, I have to do a series of different things. I have what I call a practice. And in the morning, I like to start with quiet time. Now, I'm lucky. I now live with just a dog and 2 cats. And so we have our nice quiet routine. I know that sometimes it's not quite as easy for everybody. You know, if you have children or an active household or have to get up and go out to work right away. But one of the things real early in my spiritual journey, a long time ago, I was told by one of my mentors that that it's discipline, that you create the time. You don't just wait and say, oh, I hope I get some time to have some still time, some prayer and meditation. You get up a half an hour earlier and you build it in, just like you might your exercise program, right? How easy is it to do an exercise program if we just say, well, now at this hour I'm in the mood. It's easier when you start to train yourself to wake up and just do these things in that kind of a process. So for me, to have that kind of faith that is an actionable word, faithing, for me, what that needs is for me to connect consciously on purpose each morning with this spiritual center that is within. For me to be reminded that I am a spiritual being. For me to remind myself, I'll share one more personal story. I feel full of joy, by the way. I had a great Thanksgiving with my sister, and I love life. And I'm saying that because I'm going to talk about another death story. My husband passed away about a year and a half ago. And that was very, very challenging, and I struggled with a whole different experience of grief. But what I want to share is that about the end of a year or so of being in this kind of sadness and feeling of loneliness and everything, I said to myself, I am so tired of this heavy weight of sadness. I want to feel good. I want to feel light. I want to be able to think of him and smile. And I sat down. This was actually a year ago in December. It was the end of November, and I did this meditation practice all of December. And in the very beginning, after he passed away, I couldn't even focus. But I did what I had trained myself to do. I would sit there and I would pick something up, and maybe I could think about it, maybe I couldn't. But I understood it is the practice, right? Again, if we're doing something else like an exercise program, sometimes you get up and you get into it and it's like, whoa, you're in the zone. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I still have 20 more minutes to do this. So I sat down and I was reading, and this was actually from Linda Martello-Wissett's book, Divine Audacity, because that speaks to my heart. I like to be audacious. And I was reading this, and I just read this whole paragraph and really meditated on it. And it was basically saying things like, I boldly embrace spiritual principles in my everyday life. I let go of my sense of limitations, and I open to possibility. I'm just now ad-libbing all of these things because I haven't done it in a while. But it was basically saying that I hold a vision so intently that it can do nothing but manifest. And it was just this kind of bold affirmations. And I did that every single morning for the whole month of December. And at the end of the month, I have to tell you, whatever was that heavy sadness energy that had been sitting on me for that whole time, was lifted. I didn't have that energy. I didn't have that heaviness. And I did feel lighter. And I wasn't crying all the time. And I was able to move forward and start to be in a different place. So these kind of processes, these practices, this reaching out and grabbing faith and making it actionable in your life works. Because I'm here to share with you. It definitely worked with me in both of those very, very dramatic moments in my life. And both of them are moments that broke me open, And that's why I like to use them because there are tools. There are things here we can do to access within that will walk us through those challenges. So, another one from Eric Butterworth. Faith is not a miracle catalyst, but a principle. And I like to talk about that because what is a principle? A principle is something that never changes. There is a principle that God is absolute good, omniscience, omnipowerful, omnipresent. That's a principle that I have totally embraced. No beginning and no end. And the substance is this universal intelligence. So all of this faith opens me to this presence, opens me to the flow. This, we know that Eric Butterworth likes to talk about this, right? Being in the flow. Being in the flow so that all that I need is moving in me, through me, and as me. And this is our opportunity in this season of Advent to look at this, to say, how am I engaging with faith? What do I hope for? You can start right there. Maybe you might want to do this practice during the week, and you can take each week when a different Advent principle is presented and work with it and see where you are at the end of that. What gets birthed within you? Because this is what Advent is. It's a birthing, right? We look at it not just as a birthing of Jesus as the Christ child, but that Christ consciousness that's within each and every one of us. And so we can do our part to see what mountain we want to move, what imprisoned splendor we want to release. So I would start with just spending a little bit of time saying, what is my hope? What is it that I'm looking for in my life? Am I living it to the fullest? Where are areas that I want to expand, to grow, to see the possibilities? You could start writing down a couple of those thoughts. And then going into meditation, going into the silence, doing your affirmations, just allowing, listening to what comes from within, listening to the intuition, which is what faith is. Faith is intuit belief. It allows us to open from within and find the resources, find the path forward, find the actionable steps so that we can create what it is that is looking to be birthed in this Christmas time. So the last slide that I want to leave us with is this one. According to your faith, let it be done to you. Matthew 9:29. According to your faith, let it be done to you. We can stay in sadness. We can stay in fear. We can stay in any one of those human emotions. It's important to recognize whatever's coming up in us because Jim Rosemergy wrote this book, and he was my minister for many years when I was up in Fort Myers. And he wrote The Sacred Human, and I love that reference because we are human and we are divine. And a sacred human allows themselves to connect to what is coming up within them, and then accessing that center, that spiritual nature, to lift, to integrate, to be living at the higher capacity that we are called to be. So, according to your faith, let it be done unto you. And so it is. Amen. I missed the step.
Could you share, if it's not too personal, could you share that affirmation with us?
Which one? Oh, yes.
That got you through that.
Okay.
Or did I miss that? Did you do that? Did you do that?
No.
I don't think I have it on my phone. I will say it again.
What I'd be glad to do is to, when I get home, because I don't have the book with me on this trip, but I would be glad to copy that and send it here. I can send it to you, Jerry, and you can post it on your newsletter or wherever you would like, because it is a beautiful prayer. It's not my prayer. Reverend Linda Martella-Wissett, it's from her book, Divine Audacity, which I love that book because it talks about how to access the divine within us, and then it goes into all of the 12 powers. So to the best of my recollection, the way it begins is basically that I boldly live with divine audacity. I step into my faith and truth with complete assurance that God is present. I let go of any sense of limitation, and I know that I have everything within me that I need. I am one with God, and I have strength, I have love, I have joy and excitement available to me, and I apply spiritual principles to everyday situations. And I live boldly and divinely, knowing that God is present, lifting, healing, renewing, and restoring. It goes longer than that. I don't remember all of the details, but I will share it with everyone because I just sat, and I'll share again with you what my process was. I went back to that because I was very familiar with it. It's a book that I taught and I was working with it several different times because I do love the idea. I love the unity idea of prayer. I love the idea that our prayer practice isn't about out here, that our prayer practice is looking for the divine idea behind the challenge. And that's why that book speaks to me, because if the challenge is one of health, perhaps the divine idea is the power of life. Life is that, the power of life talks about that renewing, restoring, rejuvenating energy that flows through every cell and every body, every part of my body. If it's about loneliness or loss, the power of love, the love that unifies and heals, that lifts us and connects us. So my process was just to take this paragraph and to just say it, but to then think on it and to just let it become, just absorb it, not just reading it, and then being quiet, but just really, what is this saying to me? What is this inviting me to experience? So I hope that it works for you. Take parts of it, take all of it, and it lifted me. I could feel the energy shift. Thank you.
All right, we've got a song about love. There it is. I am love. I am love, 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 pure love, I am light, I am light, I am light, I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light, pure light, I am peace, 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 joy. I am 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 joy. Pure joy. I am love. 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 Pure love. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Reverend Ellen, for your sharing your life with a beautiful message. And we'll all take that with us today as something that'll be relevant in our lives, if it hasn't been already. So I would like the ushers to please come forward. We'll say our offering blessing. Together,
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Thank you, God.
Okay, one of our dear friends, Eric, over here this morning, he came up to me and said, well, we're going to do Christmas music, right? And I said, yeah, we're going to do some Christmas music starting probably next Sunday, but let's do it now. Everybody knows Silent Night, right? Let's do that. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Let's try it again. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly. That sure sounded pretty. Thank you.
So let's bless those gifts that were so freely given. I invite you to close your eyes and join me in gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you for these gifts that are flowing so freely. Thank you for all of the resources, all of the abundance, all of the divine ideas, and all of us present here today. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
It's time for the announcements. Our prayer chaplain today I said that wrong last time. Our prayer chaplain today is Candace Curry. I invite you, if you need a prayer confirmation. And maybe this would be a good time for Bill to come up, if I got that right. Yeah. And Candace, of course.
Yes, open it. Open it.
Candace, you've been a faithful, active member of the church for a long time. And you're certainly gonna leave an empty space. And it's gonna be kind of hard to fill that space. But those spaces, not just one thing that you do. But we appreciate and we thank you for all the work and all the effort and all the enthusiasm and imagination you've given to us.
I'm gonna open this.
Carrie, how about some jazz?
Little Bob Marley, please. Don't worry, here it is. Oh, come on. That's not even, oh. I'm gonna take my tithing tree with me. That is so beautiful. Who did this picture? Who took that picture? That is stunning.
I think Dean has to take it back.
Deirdre. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. This is amazing. And to be acknowledged by such great people makes me feel great. And thank you so much. It's been years of wonderfulness, and I look forward to coming every single time I sat in these chairs and seeing your wonderful faces. As you know, and I hope you've always felt, that I love you all, and you are my family. And thank you. I'll take my tithing tree with me, and keep up the good work.
For any who may not know, Candace dreamed up that idea. And what it is it's to recognize people who have given of themselves, not financially, but what's more valuable usually is their time, to help advance the church. And in recognition of that, there are crystals, engraved crystals, hanging on the tree with the person's name on them. And if you see someone who is putting in the effort to improve the church, put their name in the box. There's a box on the. Okay, just what is that? Is that a buffet or bureau or dancer? Okay. Put their name in the box, and they'll be considered to have a crystal etched in their honor. Thank you. Thank you for that, Candy. That was great.
That came from Dog Beach after a hurricane.
I'm not sure which hurricane it was 2012. And that was carefully dried in the back of my car for many weeks. And then drummed till it looked like that. So there we go.
It certainly didn't look like that when she fished it out of the water.
No smell.
Yeah.
Well, and all she's given our church, I believe they are our host and hostess today for our coffee and conversation. So we thank them for that too, as well as so much more. We want to thank all our volunteers today. I mean, I'm learning that what a difference, you all make. So keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something that speaks to you, I'm sure there's a place to put your name back there or talk to Bill. Upcoming events. We have the Fall Jewelry Show. And thank Colleen for, there's beautiful jewelry out there. So you might want to take a look at that. I believe I heard this last week that these are donations that are going to the church.
Oh,
That's a lot.
that's nice.
Thank you. There's volunteers, speaking of, needed to help set up the Christmas decorations after the service today. So if you could stay after having some enjoyment out and refreshments outside, please help with that. Oh, well, this is my favorite. Wait a minute, I forgot my prop. Yeah. We are doing pretty well, and what we've done is we've put in bags and counted them, and I think that we have about 75 plus a few more today. Plus, we belong to a dance studio, Johnny and Lisa's dance studio on Tamiami, and they are also collecting for us. They don't have a lot right now, but we can go by and pick them up a little bit later. But I wanted to remind everyone that next week is our last week to get them in on a Sunday. I'm sorry. Before we deliver them on the 13th. It seems like the whole month half the month just went by.
Yeah.
So if you're out shopping this week and you see even one little critter that you'd like to give some love to and bring in, it's for the children at the Bonita Lakes Elementary School, the kindergartners and first graders. And if you want to see the smiles on their faces when you do this, you're welcome to join us to share that. I know Mark and Nancy went with us last year, and I think they really enjoyed it. So let us know if you want to join. And hope to see more of these next week.
How many do we need?
150, I think, by the time they were done with all the count. So, yeah, we're not there yet. Next, Michelle. Okay. A shout out to Michelle. There you are. She's our media and graphic design volunteer. She's a volunteer. That's a lot to thank you. She just put out the December newsletter. It's gorgeous, as it is all her work. We're blessed to have her. If you're not on the mailing list, please get on it. Print out the newsletter, hang it on your fridge, and you'll be in the know. And we're going to start with the announcement. Writers Group meets December 3rd and the 17th at 1:30 p.m. All that jazz. Jerry will be at the Artists with the Philharmonic Orchestra, December 18th, 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. The Board of Trustees meeting, December 19th, 10 a.m. The Cancer Support Group meets December 16th at 1 p.m. The Grief Support Group meets December 28th, 8:30 a.m. And our weekly meditation, 5 p.m. Thursday, here in the sanctuary, led by Daisy Alvarez. And now, if everyone can join us in the peace song.
Now there is peace on earth and it's begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the power, loved ones all are we. Now I walk with my family in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joy as well. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and so it is.
Nice job.
Very well done.
For you.